It is interesting that, in fact, the dream where I found myself ejected out of the moat and into a tower or a fortress, something like that. I felt, looking back, that in fact the turbulence in the moat signified all the trials that I was going through. And actually being ejected into a tower or a fortress signified finding Christ, who is our fortress. It's interesting. It's like as if something was trying to tell me, don't worry, you will come out of it safe, which is in fact what happened. And at the end of 4 years of teaching, I decided to give up teaching and leave the school. I found myself very depressed. I was at home, not knowing in fact which way I was going. It was all kind of like a wilderness of unknowing. I felt that it would be fine for me just to be restful and go to the hospital to take some tests to see why I was not conceiving, which is something I was trying to do. I thought it was because I was stressed and therefore I was not able to conceive. But actually, at the end, they found out various physical reasons why I was not conceiving, but that was much later on. During the time when I was at home during that year, I think it was 1985, 84, 85. Yes, 84, 85. Autumn 84 into winter 85. In fact, I had days and days of feeling very depressed, very low, going for walks, a lot of walks, along the Thames and just around the town. I had a little job looking after some children, which was lovely. That was a lovely sort of respite from the depression. One day, I was sitting in the kitchen peeling apples. We had an apple tree in the garden. And I felt it was really good for me to sort of like just do small practical tasks that help with feeling low. And I put the music, no, which one? It was Handel Messiah. And I remember peeling the apples in the kitchen and listening to the music. And there was the line that was sung, he was despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And then the penny dropped. Everything began to make sense because all my time at school came before my eyes like a strip cartoon. All the events, all the feeling of being despised and feeling being rejected, and in the staff room, often people just didn't want to sit next to me. I went through a bizarre experience. Some of the children in the playground were abusive. So I definitely had some incidents of definite rejection that was expressed openly. There was one day when I was still at school, I came to the classroom and I found on my teacher's chair a swastika engraved on this plastic chair. And next to it was somebody engraved, Mrs. Catan is a cow, and a swastika. Fortunately, I had the sense to turn it around into something positive. The next class that came into the classroom had a lesson about the meaning of the swastika. I drew a swastika on the blackboard and I began to talk to them. I felt the children, it may well not have been any one of them who did it, but they were very embarrassed and very ashamed. And but I was gentle. I wasn't shouting or anything. I didn't report it to anyone either. But I gave them a lesson, and funnily enough, few of them knew what it was about. And I imagined the word went around the school amongst the children of what happened, because I had no such thing happen ever again. But there was definitely a sense of persecution, of being despised. What amazing preparation for me to come to know the Lord, the Messiah of Israel, Yeshua. Feeling that I went through experiences that could make sense of the side of him being the suffering servant. Very much that kind of made sense. And it came during that time when I was peeling apples, and I could see all the events that took place in school before my face. And finally it made some kind of sense when I heard the line being sung, "He was despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief." All of these feelings of sorrow, and I was actually crying, and as I was peeling the apples, I was also crying. But it's amazing, in fact, how sometimes these toughest experiences feel most meaningful, finally and ultimately. So that was the next step. Until next time.